Friday, September 18th, 2020. Good morning from Europe. Good afternoon, good evening, whatever you are, guys. Piotr here is Light Forex Global YouTube channel. Friday, quadruple witches, and market is ranging, right? We are going to check the most important charts. Before we will do that, a risk warning as usual, guys. Please bear in mind trading on margin carries a high level of risk, may not be suitable for all investors who can sustain the loss of some or all initial investment. So please do not invest the money you cannot afford to lose. Seek education, gain experience before risking real money. However, past performance doesn't guarantee future results. All right, so what we have, let's start with the Nasdaq. As market was trying, let me move a little bit that line. Just a reminder, the lines here, that's the plan based on what we've seen late February and March, right? So just, you know, it's not the accidental lines or something like this. Anyway, something like, let's do this that way. Anyway, we've seen the rally at the beginning of the week, right? Then midweek reversal. Yesterday we hit some stops around the previous week low. Right, we hit some stops around the previous week low, but I do think that if our way of thinking when it comes to the Nasdaq is correct, we should see higher levels. We haven't seen them. We this week been rejected around the previous week high, and we are fighting around the previous week low. So overall range, right? But I'm not gonna try to fall in love with the longs, but of course I'm interested in the cash market only, so still plenty of time. But what is a bit but? I think we might see higher levels. So what I'm looking for is more up and down around the weekly open, right? Close to cash open, retest of the levels of 11,000 based on the chart I'm using, all right? And if I'm gonna see any kind of the attempt to reverse on a smaller time frame, I'm going to try to join the long party with the tight stop, right? With the tight stop. And whatever happened, and I'm still in the position ahead of the end of the day, few minutes, I'm going to close the long. I don't want to stay long overnight, right? Still think that we might see rally, and if that's the case, today my target, if this move to the downside is going to be reversed, right, we might see today the rally back towards 11,350 based on my chart. So that's how I see Nasdaq. Now, guys, Bank of England we've seen yesterday. We've seen move to the downside here, huge, all right, based on the information from Bank of England that the system is ready to implement negative interest rates. Of course, it's not, but what they didn't say that it's not on the top of the list, right? So it was like fast money, hot money speculation to the downside. But what is a big but? Big but is that we hold the levels close to Wednesday low. So it was just stop count. It was just stop count, right? And then once we started to recover here, right, some profit taking took place, and then we had some kind of the fat finger based on the information from EU that the Brexit deal is still possible, right? Well, different sources explained different way the spike on the cable, but anyway, we are still here, and this 130 is still the key. That's what we discussed. Below 30.20, 30.80, I'm bearish when it comes to the cable, right? So I'm looking for a possibility to fade the pound and maybe because we've seen the stops to the downside yesterday, maybe we have to see the stops to the upside, right, before reversing lower. So somewhere between 30.20, 30.55 looks like for me that if we are going to go higher, that might be the case. The only thing I'm scary with 30.50 is the weakness here after yesterday move to the downside, right? Because if we are going to get the close above this latest week intraday latest weakness, we might see as high as 30.80. All right, so 30.80, top of the range we discussed, and well, cannot be surprised, as you can see. That's also top of this, well, channel, let's call it, right? Market was trying to go below, but so very interesting thing. And well, if we are going to see the market is working with that low, with that latest weakness from yesterday, let's switch to the lower level. Let's switch even lower. That's the weakness from the 5 minute. Started here, but being crossed too many times. Maybe it's not a great approach. Anyway, but if we are going to see the break, so more stop counts to the upside still possible when it comes to the pound. All right. And I'm going to look for some kind of the fading. I don't want to see strong close into the end of the week. I can handle spike to the upside and then building up a shadow, right, trying to fade, but well, that should happen during the mid-European beginning of the US, and then towards the option expiration and London fix we should see start the fading eventual pound rally. Otherwise, with the strong weekly close, we have to rethink the strategy from scratch, right? If we are going to get the close, especially above 31, let's call it that way. So that's gonna be very, very interesting. Even pound is trying to recover with versus the dollar, doing not that well versus euro. So we've seen twice yesterday attempt to clean 91, right? Especially this attempt was quite nice. Of course, you can check what I'm doing. The link is in the description. There are a few different strategies on the account, so don't be confused. But anyway, you can check. I've been trading those spikes on the pound. I've been fading those spikes, and well, the good thing is that we are still here. But now, because it's Friday, I'm going to. We discussed that yesterday, or not. I don't remember. Anyway, I'm waiting for stop count, right? Meaning that I would like to see this type of the move to rejoin the parity to the upside for now, for Friday, right? It's quiet end of the week, so I'm not in rush to trade. Anyway, that's the pound, right? And today we got retail sales in line with what market was expecting. Ahead of us, preliminary consumer sentiment from the US and retail sales from Canada. Euro dollar range as well. All right, with the attempt to break lower, rejected, and lower shadow. So again, just to remind you guys, we were talking about this whole week that especially when it comes, I've been thinking that maybe on the pound we are going to see the breakdown, right? But when it comes to the euro dollar ahead of the Fed, I told you that we are going to, I'm not going to be surprised if we are going to stay inside the range. So if that's the key thing here, so if that was the test and we are trying to go higher, right? So probably market may want to work with this swing high and at the same time working with the weekly open, and we are going to get some kind of the rally next week, trying to retest the swing high around 1960. All right. So well, watching euro, being very patient, very deep today, or very sudden spike. That's tradable levels for me. So very deep. I'm talking about the levels close to yesterday low, trying to be long, or trying to fade the big rallies, eventually some kind of the spike. That's how I see the things on the euro dollar. Dollar yen. Market is one way driven by the stronger yen. It's not because of the weaker dollar. It's all about the stronger yen, all right? And because we've seen all the way down, right, some kind of the profit taking could be in place. So watch very carefully levels close to 104, all right? Especially, as you can see here, we have a green line, especially that this is important level based on the daily chart. As you can see over here, some kind of the over under, right? So market is looking for the stops, and that's gonna be quite important how we are going to behave around 104, right? Very important, especially guys, especially that we have next week Monday and Tuesday Japanese bank holiday, so liquidity is a little bit lower. I wouldn't be surprised to see, you know, Bank of Japan looking for the prices, this type of the information, and spike higher. So I'm not in a rush to try to chase the market. All right. I haven't been short particularly dollar yen, but I've been short, for example, pound yen. I'm trying to trade Aussie yen short position. That's how I see the things when it comes to the yen. All right. So with that being said, again, we've seen UK retail sales and pound is trying to gain. With UK retail sales in line with what market was expecting, right? And when it comes to the US cash session, we are awaiting preliminary University of Michigan and Canadian retail sales. With that being said, guys, don't be trapped towards the weekend. Be careful, work with your exposure. More ranges probably towards the end of the day, so be very careful. And eventually, if something looks like the breakdown or breakout, look for the rejection and try to fade it. Probably that's how it's going to work today. Thank you very much and see you around. Take care and goodbye.